with Vancouver as the overwhelming favorite. But the series is even. The only favorite now, Gary Roberts, a favorite target of Vancouver. Good morning to Newfoundland. Good evening from the West Coast as we are coast to coast tonight on Molson Hockey Night in Canada for what has become a best 3 out of 5 Western Conference quarterfinal series from the Pacific Coliseum tonight. The Vancouver Canucks and the Calgary Flames. In the first 2 games of this series, we have seen a lot of scoring, a lot of hitting, and a lot of cheap shots too. It was the
With the noise during the national anthem, you almost get the feeling you're in Chicago Stadium. The fans in Vancouver are pumped for this 3rd game of the Western Conference quarterfinal. Mike Vernon, who had a 2.81 goals against average during the regular season, has given up 10 goals in the first 2 games of this playoff series. And even though he only faced Vancouver once during the regular season, he is making his 3rd straight playoff start against the Canucks and Kirk McLean. McLean posted his 3rd postseason shutout with his 5-0 win on Monday night. And I'm sure tonight he hopes he doesn't see as much of Gary Roberts in the crease, and Andy Van Hellemond is the referee responsible with enforcing the zero tolerance rule that the NHL has for the postseason.
Well, let's keep an eye and see what the first couple of penalties are like, and then over a period or 2 determine if Van Hellemond lets off a little bit.
Gary Roberts has just now arrived at the Calgary bench. He stayed in the dressing room, as I mentioned, as long as possible to let some of the smoke clear inside the Pacific Coliseum.
You see the horse collar around Roberts' neck. He started wearing that the last game. A more common piece of equipment for a football player that has their neck bashing from side to side or backwards and forwards. And Dave King is the guy that wants Roberts to continue to play whatever way he has to be effective, as long as he stays within the rules.
King was also saying that in trying to shadow Pavel Bure when Pat Quinn is the last change, he'll probably have to send Mike Sullivan out most times on the fly. Backhand shot by Titov. Saved by McLean. Here's an opportunity now for Bure, racing down the right side. He's cut off by Zalapski. In the corner, Titov starts away with Cruz. Bure gets back. Bure checks Titov as he comes in across the line. The loose puck picked up by Titov. Looking for Reichel, but it was beyond his reach. And starting back for Vancouver is Brown with Craven. Brown throws it to the net, and the arm of referee Andy Van Hellemond goes up. A penalty call coming up against the Vancouver Canucks. So the first power play of the game will go to the Calgary Flames. 1 minute and 1 second into the opening period of games.
For high sticking, here's a look here as Brown puts the stick up on Zalapski, catches him in the chin and in the face. Andy Van Hellemond was right there. He made the call immediately. Now, the other point that we made is when you do take the penalty, don't discuss it, get to the penalty box. Brown having a little conversation. Let's see if Calgary does the same thing. Bure was jumping down the ice. He puts the body on Zalapski here, who has watched him and is a very, very strong skater. Bure goes down. Now he hits Zalapski again, and shortly thereafter did a great job in coming back on Titov. Strong back checking by Bure. When the rest of his teammates see the guy that scores 60 doing that, it gives them a lift.
Calgary scored 4 power play goals in game 2 after being shut out in game 1. Into the slot. Reichel's shot is blocked before it gets to the net, and Tim Hunter clears to center ice. Al MacInnis with a club record 5 points in game 2 drives it in. Lumme will try and get it out, and it got beyond MacInnis, who was attempting to pinch in from the point.
Well, Tim Hunter served notice to Al MacInnis that he'd take the body right there. MacInnis went in and decided to let the puck go, and it went out.
As the Flames bring it in at the blue line, it's an offside call against Calgary.
Well, let's take a look at who's not in the lineup. The Calgary Flames will sit with the exact same lineup as they did 48 hours ago. No injuries to report. Dahlquist, Petit, Kesmer, and Michael Nylander did a little bit of extra skating this morning. The Canucks scratches. Jimmy Carson has played the first couple of games. He's out this evening. Plavsic, Charbonneau, Slager, Lafayette, and former Calgary Flame, Minnesota North Star, Ottawa Senator, Edmonton Oiler, Brian Glynn did a little extra work this morning, and he's not in the lineup either.
With Carson out and Sean Antoski, Gino Ojek, and Tim Hunter in the lineup, is this an indication that perhaps Pat Quinn is expecting a continuation of the physical battle we saw in Calgary?
Well, when you have this many penalties, your fourth line is not near as significant with heavyweights, and if you want to get that significance, perhaps there's an opportunity to do it.
Zalapski's shot and the rebound fired through the legs of McLean by Joe Nieuwendyk. Fleury to Zalapski, who mishandles at the point. Courtnall and Linden are out in a penalty-killing role for Vancouver. 45 seconds remaining in the call against Brown. Titov tried to feed Reichel. The pass was behind him. Banked off the boards by Nieuwendyk, and it was a delayed offside call.
That he had.
I'm sure Andy Van Hellemond has heard and read everything that went on in Game 2 and all the penalty calls that were made.
I think you might be surprised how little a referee would worry about that. Van Hellemond has been in the league so long, a little bit like a veteran player. You know that it's more important to do what you do best as opposed to what has taken place in the past. He would have had a little bit of a briefing from David Newell, the supervisor that's following this series. Outside of that, he's confident that he'll do the job.
Kissio is checked. The puck goes to Patrick. Patrick puts it in deep. Roberts for Titov. Roberts in the corner, looking to the point. There was some traffic in front of the net. Now Roberts feeds it into Titov. Kissio was knocked down in front of the net. Brown comes out of the penalty box, and he races after the loose puck with Bure. Jumping up on the play, over to Bure, and it bounces over his stick. Fine chance for Vancouver on a 2-on-1, and a bad bounce as the puck skipped away from Pavel Bure, coming in with Jeff Brown on Mike Vernon. Yanni is knocked down. Momesso is spun around. Puck loose in front of the Calgary net. Some solid bumping along the boards as Craven takes a hit from Roberts. Titov gets to center ice. He's bumped by Lumme. Craven on the left side for Merzen. The big defenseman goes in deep against Patrick. Then he's bumped by Yanni, but he manages to stay on his feet. The puck comes free. Picked off now by Kissio for Roberts. A long shot. That's wide of the net. The Flames making a change. Al MacInnis played the first 2 minutes and 28 seconds of the hockey game. That was a long opening shift for Al MacInnis. He's back out on the ice. Here's Brown with the blast. It's blocked. McCarthy comes in. McCarthy centers it, and Stern couldn't convert. Walls is spun around. Some good bumping early in the hockey game. And then Antoski is hit by Stern. Stern went down. McIntyre comes back for Vancouver. He slips it ahead to Ojek. Ojek having problems trying to get away from MacInnis. 15:20 remaining in a still scoreless opening period. Game 3 of this Western quarterfinal series, tied at a game apiece. Trevor Linden, a star in the first 2 games in Calgary. A goal in each game. Dave Babbage bursting through, a weak backhander, and the save is made, and there's a penalty coming up against the Calgary Flames.
Kevin Dahl gets a pair for holding big Dave Babbage. Babbage kept his legs moving, drove to the net. Dahl went to the box as a result.
Bure is the lone man back in the point as Linden takes the face-off and will try and get it back to him. Brown has moved up to the top of the circle. Puck is loose in front of the net, and Fleury now will move up to the blue line before relieving the pressure as he dumps it down the ice.
Well, Vancouver's power play has been kicking along here, 20% in this series. They're 3 for 15 so far.
Brown fires it in. Ronning goes to the corner after it. He initially was looking back to the point, but it was picked off by Fleury and cleared again.
Well, the last shift before the penalty, great momentum created by the line of McIntyre, Ojek, and Antoski. These guys were skating pretty well and really taking the Calgary bodies.
Courtnall is bumped along the boards by Musil. Sullivan unable to clear. Good job by Linden keeping it onside. Puck loose in the corner, and this time Al MacInnis will be able to clear. The Vancouver Canucks have had difficulties in setting up in the Calgary zone.
Well, it's always important to get the puck out of your end when you're killing a penalty. It's even more important when you've got a crowd like is here at the PNE tonight. You don't want to create any more noise than they're already giving the home team.
Out front for Linden, a weak shot, the puck loose in front of the net. Big Joe Otto comes in across the line for Fleury. He shoots. Puck is blocked before it gets to Kirk McLean, and now Murray Craven skates out to center ice with 30 seconds remaining in the penalty. Lumme with a shot. It's blocked before it gets to the net. Lumme back to Babbage. Babbage will let it go, and it doesn't get to Vernon either. The Flames have done a pretty good job of blocking those point shots before they get to the net. Now they're trying to get it out of the zone, and it's put over the glass and out of play by Zarley Zalapski.
Joel Otto bumping with McLean as Courtnall takes the body on him. Van Helmen had a brief conversation with the two of them as the play went down the ice. Bure lost his stick in this play, and he still managed to get to the bench and back into his end to do his defensive duties.
5 seconds remaining in the penalty to Dahl. 13:06 is the time remaining in the first period. Fleury wins the draw. Zalapski will bang it around the glass and out to center ice as Dahl comes out of the penalty box. And Toski was knocked down by Roberts. Zalapski moves it ahead to Nieuwendyk. Roberts trailing on the play. Zalapski tried to feed it into the slot area, and he's decked by Antoski. And the two do some pushing and shoving as they get back up and try to get into the... As we get underway again in the opening period with 12:39 remaining. The Calgary Flames did not lose on the coast in their 3 visits here this year. McCarthy fires it to the corner. Nieuwendyk bumps with Merzen. Puck comes up along the boards to Memesso. He flips it back to Lumme. Lumme dumps it towards the net. Dahl tied up his man. McIntyre, who was attempting to go for the front of the net. Dahl pinching in from the point. He's bumped there by Memesso. Roberts can't center it, and we have an injured Calgary player behind the play. Sandy McCarthy went down, but is able to get back up and get into the play, and then he steps into Merzen. McCarthy was very slow in getting up and getting back into the play, and then he collides with Tim Hunter inside the Calgary blue line. Lead pass too far for Hunter. Vernon misplayed it back of the net. Hunter attempting to free it. He was fighting there with James Patrick, and now Zalapski from the other side. Starts out slowly for Cruz. Cruz gives it to Titov. Titov working in against Hedican. Hedican takes him in against the boards. The two go down. The puck is loose back of the net. A wraparound attempt. Titov trying to jam it in. Musil comes flying in as well. Puck is kicked off to the corner. 4 players battling for it there, and finally they succeed in holding it for a face-off, but a close call and a wraparound attempt by the Calgary Flames. With a Stanley Cup update, here's Ken Daniels.
All right, Don, the first of 3 straight games to be played at the San Jose Arena. And it's the Detroit Red Wings who get the lead on the San Jose Sharks on their first shot on goal. Sheldon Kennedy leaves it in front, and Darren McCarthy will put it home to give Detroit a 1-0 lead over the Sharks. Chris Osgood in goal for the Red Wings. Steve Yzerman is not playing tonight.
Well, Calgary has taken the brunt of the body checks. Hedeken takes Titov out. Otto got rubbed out, and Toski with some big checks. Ojek as well, as Titov tries to cram the puck into a space that is not there. Just a huge war taking place over the last couple of shifts. Gino Ojek got 2 minutes for cross-checking Paul Cruz. I don't know how Andy Van Helmen saw it. I didn't think that any of the officials saw it. Ojek put a pretty stiff cross-check to the back of Cruz as Otto and Tim Hunter were getting set to go at it in the corner. Here's a look at what took place. Our eye in the sky captures sometimes a little bit more than we can see.
So Ojek goes to the penalty box with 10:50 remaining in the first period. Nieuwendyk was having some problem with his skate.
Calgary's got 2. They've both been 4-on-4. Vancouver's had a half a dozen. 5 5-on-5 goals and 1 4-on-4. Calgary has got the edge in power plays 4-3. Both teams have a shorthanded goal. But I think the telling statistic is 5-on-5. And in my view, if you're strong 5-on-5, in the long haul, you win games. And Vancouver has clearly dominated Calgary in that particular statistic.
In game 1, of course, being shut out 5-0, Calgary did not score a power play goal. They were 1 for 5 in game 2 and then scored on their next 3 power play opportunities. Dave Babbage with the lead pass for Linden, going in alone. He fired it wide. He gets another chance for Courtnall. He was checked. Back comes Reichel. And as he tried to drive it in off the glass, he put it up into the crowd out of play. But a glorious opportunity shorthanded for Trevor Linden. And he missed on the backhand.
Boy, Linden with great wheels, and Babbage with pinpoint passing. Look at this pass right on the tape. Try and take a pass on your backhand going full bore like that. Mike Vernon, I'm not sure whether he got a piece of it, but he managed to at least come back to the side where Linden was shooting. A perfect move by Linden. He wanted to get that puck up, and it slid off his stick. Another look. Babbage waits till he gets the blue line through the skates and on the back of the stick. He's got nothing else to pass it to but the stick he sees through the hole between Nieuwendyk's legs.
Dave Babbage, the veteran rearguard, has been having a fine playoff series for the Canucks. They're very happy with his performance through the first 2 games. Fleury goes in deep. He's checked by Babbage. Babbage tries to get it out. Zalapski cuts it off. Nieuwendyk is positioned in front of the net. MacInnis has to go to the corner for Reichel. Reichel flips it to the other side to Fleury. Again, Nieuwendyk is in front of the net, but the shot is blocked from Zalapski at the point. Zalapski in front, and he couldn't convert Reichel's centering pass. Fleury has it now, back to the line to MacInnis. There's the shot right on the rebound. Reichel, a backhand shot wide. Zalapski at the point. He's checked, and the puck is knocked out to center ice by Babbage with 38 seconds remaining in the Ojek penalty. Here's Reichel winding up, and McLean squeezes it between his pads. 33 seconds remaining in the Ojek penalty. Patrick is at the point to Roberts. Tissio behind the net, spun around by Lumme, and Tim Hunter flips it the length of the ice. 9:09 remaining in the opening period. No score in this third game. Wes Walls works his way to the corner, shoots, saved by Kirk McLean. The Canucks having some problems clearing. Yanni lets the shot go wide. The rebound, and a good save by McLean off Tissio. Ojek is out of the penalty box. Ojek slips it on the right side to Hunter, and Hunter, who is out in the penalty killing role, dumps it in and then goes to the bench. Ojek runs into Patrick back of the net. Roberts now for Fleury. Bure is after him. Craven in the corner, bumped by Fleury. Craven tried to center. It was intercepted. And this will be an icing call against Calgary as Hedeken goes back to touch it. 8:18 is the time remaining in a still scoreless opening period. In the background, in our view from the Pacific Coliseum, Lions Gate Bridge. 8:18 remaining in the opening period. Inside the Pacific Coliseum, as we look down on the ice from our camera up high in the rafters, the face-off to the right of Mike Vernon following the icing call. The Flames have outshot the Canucks by a 9-4 margin, but the best scoring opportunity of the hockey game belonged to Trevor Linden, shorthanded. Greg Adams, who missed game 2 after stopping a shot from teammate Pavel Bure in game 1, is watching Zalapski behind the net, forcing Zalapski to throw it up along the boards, and Brown retreats into his own zone after it. Stern was trying to go after him. Brown is able to throw it rink wide to Adams. Adams to Craven. It's a two-line pass. San Jose. 3 games are being played in San Jose. Game 4 in that series will take place tomorrow night. And then should more games be required, the next 2 will be back in Detroit. Stern trying to get away from Brown in the corner. Reichel comes in to help out. Stern fighting behind the net with Brown. Sullivan is there. So is Hedeken. Hedeken trying to clear, and he does. Zalapski got back just in time ahead of Bure. Now Reichel races after a loose puck. And a penalty call has been made against the Vancouver Canucks. Pavel Bure goes to the penalty box.
Bure got a similar sort of penalty by impeding the progress of Robert Reichel in game 2. Jumped up ice and was back a fair piece and got in the way of Zalapski. Van Helmen called an interference penalty, and Bure receives 2 minutes. This will be Calgary's 3rd power play opportunity of the first period.
MacInnis will drive it in, and now Yanni races in after it. He leaves it for Fleury. Fleury directs it towards the net. It was blocked before it got to McLean, and the Canucks are successful in clearing. Two goals and 3 assists for MacInnis in game 2. A feed to Nieuwendyk. His shoot in is blocked by Babbage. MacInnis tries again to set something up. MacInnis having problems with McIntyre, couldn't escape his checking. Now Reichel is spun around as he comes to the line, and the Canucks clear.
Vancouver being very, very physical at every opportunity, particularly the big guys, giving some of the smaller guys a little bit more courage than they might otherwise have. When they've got a chance to take a flame hard, they're doing it.
And that's what Linden does as he bumps Zalapski in the corner. Now Roberts gets to the line, leaves it there for Titov. Linden stepped into Roberts, and the fans like that one.
Well, this means you have to have great conditioning to play a game at this level over the first 14 minutes of the first period. The question is whether Calgary can continue to sustain the hammering that Vancouver's dishing out right now. And secondly, if Vancouver can continue to take the body to Calgary the way they have.
Penalty call against the Calgary Flames as Courtnall was elbowed, and MacInnis will head to the penalty box. With another update, here's Ken.
One in their past 6 with 6:13 to play. St. Louis ties up the game. Craig Janney on the wraparound stop once by Wakaluk, but a great second effort, and falling down, he gets it in, and it's all tied up 3-3 now with less than 6 minutes to play at the arena in St. Louis.
MacInnis gets 120 seconds for elbowing. Courtnall went to hit him, and I suspect that MacInnis had a choice to make: either protect yourself and take a penalty, or not protect yourself and go down. Courtnall had a pretty good bead on him. MacInnis got the elbow up. Courtnall took the worst part of the head, but MacInnis finds himself in the penalty box. A little bit more 4-on-4 action. It'll be 32 seconds until Bure comes out of the penalty box.
Joe Nieuwendyk moves out along with Titov in the penalty-killing role for the Flames. In 32 seconds, the Vancouver Canucks will have a man advantage. In game 2, both teams scored a goal 4-on-4 in the opening period. Yanni knocked off the puck. Lumme looking for Craven, and Craven was tied up in front of the net by Patrick. 5 seconds and power play for Vancouver, except there's another penalty call, and it will be a 2-man advantage with Trent Yanni going to the box.
Well, Murray Craven took a couple of penalties in game 2. I watched the game again this afternoon, and I still am looking for the reason that the calls were called. Yanni gets a bit of a soft one here on Craven, and perhaps that's a little something for Craven, having kept this cool after he took 2 that didn't really warrant calls in game number 2. But Gary Roberts involved in 5 confrontations with McLean the last game. 4 of them drew penalties. The reason they drew penalties is because of Rule 47. If you look, it talks about a goalkeeper not being fair game, and a penalty for interference or charging should be called in every case where an opposing player makes unnecessary contact. Unnecessary is the key, and it's up to the referee to decide that. Roberts disagreed. Fraser did not.
5-on-3. The shot blocked. Courtnall couldn't get the rebound. 1:17 in the 2-man advantage. Bure back at the point. Over to Brown. Brown to Bure. Bure fakes. Linden had problems controlling it. Running back to the net for Linden. Linden being bothered there by Joel Otto. Frees it for Courtnall. Back to Bure. Traffic in front of the net. Now Brown in the high slot for Linden. Linden again had problems handling it. Back to Brown at the point, and the puck was on edge and bounced off his stick. Bure for Linden. Linden looks to the front of the net. Checked there by Musil as he tried to center. Now it's Bure. Bure couldn't shoot. Over to Brown. Brown can't shoot. Bure lets it go. They bang away, and finally they knock it in, but I'm not sure. I think the whistle may have gone.
Well, Courtnall hit Frank Musil right on the button after the puck went in the net. Now Ronning had an opportunity at the side of the net, and Vernon somehow got his glove on it. Van Helmen is waving off what looked like a goal, and I would guess it's because the whistle had blown.
Ronning positioned at the side of the net. Had his shot blocked by Vernon. And referee Andy Van Helmen immediately waved things off, claiming the whistle had gone.
Well, Don, I was all ready to listen to you say he scores. I thought Ronning had the same type of goal as he patiently waited for in game 1 from the same spot. Watch right here. Ronning goes right to the top, and Vernon very alertly gets the glove up. Now, it looked like he had frozen the puck. Perhaps a bit of a quick whistle here, as Ronning is right there, and Vernon didn't have his glove there. The beauty of that save is he reached for it. Great reaction time on the second save, something Vernon is great at. He got a break because he couldn't corral the puck, and as it dropped back, I think it was Linden whacked it in the net, but the whistle had gone.
Brown with the shot. Linden the rebound. And another save by Vernon. Linden attempting to center. Courtnall into the corner for Ronning. Ronning back to Bure. Bure over to Brown. He moves in. Back to Bure. The shot. The save by Vernon. And they ruled that the puck was contacted with a high stick, and the faceoff will come back into the Vancouver zone. Tremendous pressure by the Canucks, and some acrobatic goaltending by Mike Vernon to keep this game scoreless.
You know, Don, at the start of this series, we talked about Calgary versus Vancouver and the fact that Calgary is dominant in pretty much every area. You can disagree on degree of dominance, but clearly over this past season, Calgary has been a better team in all of the areas. What Vancouver had to do was find an edge if they wanted to be competitive, and they have found that in a lot of ways. One of the things that I've noticed is they've been absolutely outstanding at coming back after Calgary has had good pressure or scored a goal or made a big hit. Vancouver doesn't rest on that and take it. They find a way to come back. Here's an example with a 4-on-3. They've been all over Calgary for the last 40 seconds.
5 seconds remaining in the MacInnis penalty as Bure leads the rush. Craven to Jelena. He's centered as MacInnis comes out of the penalty box. Adams has it. Adams looks to Brown at the point. Back to Adams, to Brown. To Adams, he lets a shot go. It's blocked by Musil. Musil couldn't clear, but Fleury can. Sullivan stays with Bure. The puck goes to the corner, and Bure will try and come out the other side, then puts on the brakes to escape post-checking of Sullivan. And now the Calgary Flames are back at full strength.
When you have a rocket, Don, it's reverse thrust. It's not brakes.
Good point, Jim. Andy Van Hellemond is making another penalty call, this one against Vancouver with 3:08 remaining in the first. Pavel Bure draws his second minor penalty of the period, a high sticking call at 16:52. This was the pressure, 5-on-3 Vancouver. They scored, but the whistle had gone, and listen carefully.
One little chirp and then a few budgies thereafter. You had to have sharp ears, and as difficult as it was for Don and I to stop talking to give you an opportunity to hear that, clearly Andy Van Hellemond had blown the whistle after Vernon made the first save. A little quick, but the whistle had been blown.
The Calgary Flames in game one bemoaned the fact that they were unable to score with a two-man advantage in the opening period. Vancouver had similar problems in the opening period in game two. And the Vancouver Canucks had a two-man advantage tonight in this opening period. Now the Calgary Flames are on the power play. MacInnis gets his own shoot in. MacInnis winds up, and McLean saves it. Zalapski feeds MacInnis back to Zalapski. He fakes into West Walls. Roberts is in front of the net. There's the shot. Knocked down by Dana Merzen. He and Roberts were battling in front of the goal. A neat bit of work by John McIntyre to deflect the puck with his glove out of the zone.
Obviously, McIntyre, an old volleyball player, just tipped that one out over the net that Zalapski had at the blue line.
55 seconds remaining in the penalty to Bure. 2 minutes remaining in the opening period. No score. Game 3 of this Western Conference quarterfinal series. Game 4 goes Sunday afternoon. Here's Fleury with a head of steam and a high shot. The stick of Diddick up into the crowd. With another Stanley Cup playoff update, Ken Daniels.
Well, Don, a furious few minutes at the arena in St. Louis. It was the Blues and Stars all tied up, but here Dave Gagné gets the go-ahead goal after a Tony Herkus giveaway. 4-3 for Dallas, but with 28.6 seconds left, the Stars can't clear, and former Duck Alexei Kasatonov brings the roof off of the arena in St. Louis. They're tied at 4, heading into overtime.
Trevor Linden starting off his third game in first period exactly the same way he finished game 1 and game 2. Very, very strong. And even if he hadn't been putting the goals in that he has over the first couple of games, his contribution would have been noted. Great play, great skating, taking the body hard, and eventually that sort of play results in points, goals, and wins.
Zalapski fanned on his shot, and Courtnall starts away with Linden. Linden has scored a goal in each of the first 2 games. He's ridden out of the play by MacInnis. Zalapski nudges it ahead for Titov. Titov was spun around. Courtnall takes his time, and then he clears. 17 seconds remaining in the Bure penalty.
Well, you can see since game one, the Calgary Flames have tried to do a little bit more crisscrossing on the ice. They've tried to attack with more depth, and they've had their defense jumping in a lot more than they did in the original game of this series. As a result, Vancouver hasn't been able to be quite as physical on defense as they were in the opening contest of this series.
Bure back on the ice trying to check Patrick, and then Patrick was able to dodge a check from Jelena. We're in the final minute as Hedeken lays it up on the left side for Jelena to Brown. Brown takes his time as he works to center for Craven. His dump in, picked up by Patrick. Jelena had been driving in after it. The clearing attempt hits Van Hellemond, and the shot by Craven goes wide. Lumme plays it back of the net. Jelena fighting off a check, circling in front. Jelena gets set, he shoots. Traffic in front of the net. Craven was knocked down. Craven looked back to referee Van Hellemond, but his arm was not up. There was no penalty call. 15 seconds remaining in the opening period. Memesso goes after the puck. He tried to center it, went back of the net. Memesso was tied up by Musil. Roberts for Dahl. Dahl attempted to center for Kissio, and it comes out front to Cruz just as the horn sounds.
Boy, a great opening period. Vancouver more physical than Calgary, really pouring the pressure on the Flames. The Flames are happy with this period because they're not behind, and we've got a period that I thought we were going to get right from the start. Let's see if Vancouver can keep up this intensity for another period and then another one after that, and how are the Flames going to counter it.
The Flames with... In the second and third periods of the first two games, the Vancouver Canucks have outscored the Flames by 6-2 in the second period, 3-1 in the third period. The only period in which Calgary had the edge was game 2, where they outscored Vancouver by a 4-1 margin. Hedekin's shot is blocked. Kissio had to put on the brakes at the line and dump it to the corner, and back after it goes Brown. Ahead to Linden. Linden winds, and the shot is right on as Vernon leaves it there for Patrick. Patrick having some problems with Ronning, trying to get away. Courtnall steals. Courtnall threw it across in front. Nobody there. Shot from the point by Brown goes wide. Hedekin will fire it in, and if Zalapski gets there, which he does, it's an icing call against the Vancouver Canucks. When Vancouver led the division, the Canucks won 46 games, a franchise record. This year they had 41 victories, just one less than Calgary. But the Vancouver Canucks had the fewest ties of any team in the league. They only battled to a draw 3 times during the 84-game regular season.
Well, Kirk McLean had 13 losses, I believe, by 1 goal. I had a number of the Canucks tell me throughout the regular season that they had to find a way to win those games as opposed to lose them.
Adams was tied up by Dahl as he attempted to drive for the net. Adams will try again. This time he's bumped by Fleury and goes down. Adams persists, goes after it, leaves it there for Ojic. Dahl beat him to the puck in the corner. Babbage trying to keep it in at the line, and he managed to do it, but Reichel came back to pick up the puck for the Calgary Flames. Now Roberts is bumped by Babbage. He moved it ahead to Bure, couldn't go anywhere. Babbage again ties up Roberts. 18:15 remaining in the second period. No score in the hockey game. This is the 5th time these two teams have met in postseason play. Sullivan cuts off the clearing attempt. His shot deflects to the corner. Nieuwendyk looks for someone to give it to. Tried to go back to the point. Patrick kept it in, then had it taken away by Adams. Adams lets a high shot go off the glass behind Vernon. Stern's pass is cut off by Lumme. Lumme can't do anything with it. And the penalty is coming up as Vernon makes a huge save on Murray Craven. Penalty call against Calgary with 17:36 remaining in the second.
Watch Gary Roberts here. He hits Babbage. Babbage is so strong you don't budge him. That's why so few people try to hit him. Mike Vernon with a huge save here off Murray Craven. A bit of a mishandle in front of the net by Zalapski. And then Sullivan puts the leg out on Bure. And when you do that, you get 2 for interference. That's exactly what happened. Bure feels a little bit better now because he's had 2 of those types of penalties called against him.
Sullivan has been on the ice against Bure in a shadowing job on 6 of the 7 shifts that Bure has been out for Vancouver. I mentioned this is the 5th time these 2 teams have met in the postseason. And in Game 3, Vancouver has a record of 3 wins and 1 loss. So statistically, the numbers would favor the Vancouver Canucks, but the Calgary Flames had the better record in meetings between the 2 teams during the regular season, winning 4, losing 2, and tying 1. Musil dumps it to the corner. Again, Vancouver is having all sorts of difficulty trying to set up. Fleury was in forechecking, but Bure got the puck past him. Bure lets the shot go on the feed from Courtnall, and Vernon just got his glove on it.
Well, the Flames goaltending coach Glenn Hall had a few chats with Mike Vernon, and he told him that he wasn't doing anything wrong, just to keep the confidence. Boys, he played well tonight.
Ronning lets the shot go, and Vernon's got that one with Linden screening in front of the Calgary backstop.
Well, if we run through some of the fast facts in the first period, face-offs very, very close. Calgary with a slight edge, not enough to slip a hair between. Ice times of MacInnis close to 8 minutes. Bure at almost 9. Roberts at 10. Lumme 7.5 minutes. Now Vernon felt that he's only had 2 bad goals out of the 10 that have been scored on him. He hasn't had the opportunity to make a lot of saves like this, but tonight he's had a half a dozen, and he has been flawless so far.
There were people who wondered if Dave King might make a goaltending change after the 5-0 Vancouver win in Game 1, and he said, not when you look at the record of Mike Vernon during his career in the postseason.
Well, with the exception of Reese starting last year when Vernon was injured, he had started almost 50 consecutive games. Reggie Lemelin, I think back in '85, was the last guy to play in the Flames uniform.
Babbage feeds it into Bure. Bure goes back to the line at the side of the net for Craven to Babbage. Traffic in front of the net, and the puck is deflected up high off the glass.
Over the glass and earned a face-off to the left of Vernon.
23 seconds remaining in the penalty to Sullivan of Calgary. Otto and Craven are in the face-off circle. And Craven is going to be waved out with Jelena coming in. Otto wins the draw for Patrick, and Patrick will clear. Titov watches Babbage. Now Otto moves in to watch the big defenseman. He plays it ahead to Bure. Bure couldn't slip it through to Craven. And Sullivan comes out of the penalty box. Calgary has killed off another Vancouver power play. At the side of the net, the puck comes loose out front, and Titov simply clears. Jelena had been taken off the puck by Joel Otto. Lumme gets to the line, tried to wind up, now thinks the better of it, dumps it to the corner for Jelena. It got beyond him, another penalty coming up. The time remaining in a still scoreless second period. Well, even though their power play struggled at home, the Flames don't want to give the Canucks too many chances. They get called for too many men in the ice. You saw Andy Van Helleman counting, and there are 6 red jerseys in the end of the ice as Van Helleman counts them out and says, you can't do that, boys.
That is a tough penalty to ever argue, Don, particularly when your 6 guys are still on the ice and the referee can line them up and count them again if he has to.
Wes Walz will serve the penalty. Courtnall checked along the boards by Musil. It goes free to Ronning in the corner. Bure went for the net, but Ronning couldn't get it to him. Now Brown has it. Brown for Linden. Linden mishandled it. Courtnall did a good job of protecting the puck. He turned his body to it. Now Brown with a long shot, and Vernon has that one. I think Linden may have got caught a little by surprise. He wasn't anticipating the pass as he moved into the slot. He was going to the net, thinking that perhaps there would be a shot from the point.
Well, that pass has to be right on the mark and timed perfectly as well. Linden was in the middle of the ice, but with the puck bouncing, it's tough to get a handle on it. You know that you're going to have the flame forward converging on you very, very quickly. And as the puck bounced, Linden couldn't get a grip on it.
Calgary has yet to register a shot. In the second period, Vancouver has managed 5. The Canucks have had the benefit of a power play. This is their second. Fleury has lost his stick. Brown moves it over to Linden. Linden back to Brown. Brown fakes. Linden one-times it wide. And Joel Otto will get a chance to clear, although it hit the linesman Collins. Back comes Linden. Ronning went for the net. He was covered. Bure at the point. Fakes to Linden. Brown sneaks in behind the play. Went for the net. A centering pass. Brown has to take it back to the top of the circle. Brown fakes. Ronning lets the shot go, and Vernon has that one.
Well, Vancouver with a great opportunity, not only with the power play, but Fleury without a stick. Cliff Ronning has been a real pepper pot for the Vancouver Canucks so far. Scored a huge goal in the first game. Great presence, great scorer. And he's sneaking up on some all-time Vancouver playoff scoring records. Fleury without his stick, and you feel like a fish out of water when you get trying to block shots. I don't know what it is about not having a stick in your hand, but as a player, boy, you really feel naked. Fleury didn't have an opportunity to go to the bench until Vernon made that last save. As a penalty killer, if you can move the puck around and you have those great skills, you can toy with a guy without the stick. Vancouver did a little bit of that. Perhaps they wish they might have done a little bit more.
Fleury, in preparing his stick for tonight's game, was putting some stickum on the tape on the blade of the stick.
Well, with a lot of the metal and composite sticks now, Don, you have to glue the butt of the heel that goes into the shaft. Fleury was using that glue to give his stick a little more stick-to-tiveness.
Brown for Lumme. Bure goes back to the line. Brown will take the pass back to Lumme. Brown fakes. Lumme winds, and Vernon comes up with another big one. And a penalty has been called here as a hit is put on Gary Roberts in the corner. And Roberts is down.
Well, Bure's on his way to the box. Trainer Bearcat Murray is out tending to Roberts. Now remember, Roberts has the collar that you see back behind his neck. And a lot of the time when he gets hit, the initial stun or the pain that he feels will be simply because of the injury that he sustained in game 1. Dave King looks like he's got a little bit of fire in his eyes, and he is calling for 5 minutes. Not too tough to lip read that. When a trainer comes out on the ice, more often than not, he asks you questions like, what day is it? Where are we? Where do we play next? And as silly as that might sound, if you get your bell rung hard enough like this, as Bure gets Roberts from behind, pretty good. You get your bell rung and you lose consciousness for a split second, concussions can happen and serious injuries. Gary Roberts straight into the boards. Bure gets a pretty good body check on the flame forward.
Jim, you talked about the fire in the eyes of Coach Dave King. He was yelling at referee Andy Van Hellemond that this was a major penalty. He didn't influence Andy, but the referee also saw it that way, and Pavel Bure is gone for 5 minutes. A major penalty for boarding.
Well, fortunately for the Vancouver Canucks, Van Hellemond did not decide to give Bure an automatic game misconduct. He can, if there's an injury to the face or the head, or the referee decides within his discretion that there was any attempt to injure. Bure looking to take the body hard on Roberts. Van Helmen, clearly in the replay as well, realizes that the check was from behind. And now the Flames with a huge opportunity. Bure in the box for 5, 36 seconds remaining on the penalty to the Flames for too many men on the ice.
Bure very involved in this game statistically, but the numbers that the Vancouver fans would like to see: goals and assists, not penalty minutes for their star forward. Titov steals. He's checked from behind. Ronning wheels away from a check. He comes away with Brown. Brown went driving for the net. Ronning lost control of the puck. And now as he tries to flip it to the corner, it's picked off and dumped down the ice. The fans react as Ronning was upset in the neutral zone, but there was no penalty call. Long lead pass goes off Brown into Calgary territory. And now the Calgary Flames on the power play. Reichel back to MacInnis. MacInnis shoots high off the glass. Zalapski kept it in. Diddick trying to clear. He's checked. Roberts has the puck. Roberts might not be public enemy #1 in Vancouver, but he's among the top 2. Reichel lets his shot go. It's blocked. And it's fired the length of the ice. Hennigan did a good job of preventing the puck from getting to the net.
Well, I know everyone's familiar with the rules, but don't forget, if a goal is scored, the major penalty does not come out of the box. Vancouver has got a huge incentive here to continue with this kill.
3:27 remaining in the major. Overtime has ended in St. Louis. With the details, here's Ken Daniels.
All right, Don, and it's the Stars' first win in their 7 trips to St. Louis in overtime on the power play. 8:34 into the extra frame. The puck will come back to ex-St. Louis Blue Paul Cavallini, who rifles one home past Curtis Joseph as the Stars win 5-4, and they lead the series now 3-0. There is no way Joseph saw this one. A star in his goal crease, and Rick Zombo screening him. The Stars win it 5-4, take a 3-0 series lead.
Don, if you looked at overall plus-minus as we go through the scores for Dallas and St. Louis has the worst even strength plus-minus of any team that made the playoffs. Dallas is among the top half of teams in the National Hockey League. When you put those two combinations together in a tight checking series, you get Dallas up by 3 and St. Louis without a victory.
St. Louis Blues with so much offensive potential with the addition of Nedved and Stastny just before the trade deadline. Linden couldn't handle his entering pass from Lumme. 3:07 remaining in the 5-minute major. Here comes Kissio. Nieuwendyk fired it wide. MacInnis has it at the line. Over to Zalapski. It bounced away from him. And the Flames will have to try and set up again. Zalapski fires it back to the net. Nieuwendyk lets it go for Kissio. Kissio checked. Puck comes out front to Walls. And his shot is blocked by McLean. Courtnall sprawls to grab the puck. He's trying to keep it in, and he succeeds. And now he and Linden go to the bench as Pat Quinn changes up his penalty-killing foursome.
Well, McLean hasn't had a lot of work so far this period or in this hockey game. Only 10 shots so far, but what a huge save off of Walls close in. A broken play. McLean had to be sharp, and he was.
Babbage. Dump Reichel now at the line. Yawning. Back to Patrick. Reichel's shot is blocked by Babbage. Babbage blocks another shot before it gets to the net. It seems that number 44 is everywhere tonight.
Well, Vancouver is generating momentum from this penalty kill. Jelena with some big body checks. Babbage has been strong on this kill. Listen to the crowd if 1:46 expires without the Flames getting a goal.
Now it's Jelena flipping it down the ice, and he goes to the bench in the change. Fans reacting to the work of the penalty-killing unit. McIntyre lost it. Roberts with the shot. Rebound in front of the net, and McIntyre got back to pick it up. McIntyre received an award between periods as the hardest working Canuck. Hedeken did a neat job of hopping over a stick but couldn't get a shot on goal. 1:12 remaining in the 5-minute major to Pavel Bure. McLean will try and clear, and it bounces past Zalapski and out.
Boy, great intensity in this game. Vancouver doing an outstanding job keeping the Flames off the mark.
Walls couldn't get it to Nieuwendyk, who was driving for the goal. Titov will try and set something up. 49 seconds left in the power play. Walls back to Zalapski. Over to MacInnis. MacInnis, a long shot, steered away by McLean. Titov looks to the point. Titov has it. A redirection by Walls at the side of the net, and a quick reaction by McLean. Titov out front. Nobody in the slot area. 20 seconds remaining in the penalty to Bure.
Well, Tim Hunter had snuck in to take the concentration of Nieuwendyk off of the slot area. Did a great job, and McIntyre watched McInnis.
Puck is centered. McLean is able to steer it away, but they can't get it out. Fleury back to McInnis. McInnis fakes the shot. Bure is back on the ice. And Bure is going to break away with McIntyre. Bure couldn't get it past down McInnis. McIntyre was going for the net, but Bure couldn't get the puck to him. 8:32 remaining in the period. Here comes Roberts with Fleury. Every time he touches the puck, a chorus of boos erupts at the Pacific Coliseum. Now Ronnie fakes the shot, lets it go. Vernon has it in his pads, and he covers up with traffic at the side of the net. But this roar of approval is for the penalty killing of the Vancouver Canucks. They shut out the Flames during a 5-minute major to Bure. Well, Jim, while we were away, the fans really roared their approval for the penalty killing of the Canucks. And I don't know whether this building has ever been as noisy as it has been several times this evening.
Well, things have sure changed in Vancouver. I think back to the early 80s. And until there was the towel waving and the run to the Stanley Cup Finals, a lot of quiet nights at the P&E. And a big game by Vancouver in the first game of this series, and guys like Babbage, Didick, and Merzen doing a yeoman's task on the point for Vancouver. All of a sudden, you've got a sold-out house, and you really have to listen to the guy beside you if you want to hear him speaking.
Puck is tied up along the boards, and after the fact, all the players on the ice get involved in some pushing and shoving along the boards, but it doesn't appear as though anybody is interested in dropping their gloves, and that instigator penalty certainly makes players think twice at playoff time about getting involved in fisticuffs. But Joel Otto is going to draw a minor penalty for the incident that took place along the boards following the face-off. I think it's safe to say he's less than pleased with that decision.
Well, both teams have had a fair amount to say to Andy Van Helmen when they've gone to the penalty box. It's tough when you have emotions that run at this level in a Stanley Cup playoff game. But if you can keep that in check, your chances of staying even are much better. The tradition. Well, this is what drew the penalty. Joel Otto coming in, giving Ronnie a little shot. Some of the body checks have been dished out. No penalties called. And a little push like that. Kind of wonder.
Brown lets it go. That's high off the glass. Puck got up on edge on Brown, and the puck ricocheted off the glass. Now it's Fleury. Behind the net, a backhand shot, a weak one, picked off by Bure.
Well, Vancouver killed a 4-minute and 24-second major penalty to the Calgary Flames. Calgary's only had 2 shots on goal in this period, and the first one came at the 9:45 mark. That is great defense by the Vancouver Canucks.
The puck skips past Bure, and he has to race back after it. He thought he was going to be pressured, but the Flames were on a line change. Courtnall tried to center for Linden. Puck was deflected before it got to him. Into the slot, and Musil will clear. 1 minute remaining in the penalty to Joel Otto.
Well, Frank Musil shot the puck out alongside the boards. There was a bunch of traffic, and you say, geez, it's a low percentage play, but it's much better to put it in traffic on the boards. If it gets picked off, you're not giving him a great angle to shoot at.
Lumme with a nifty move as he came in across the line to get a shot on goal. Craven for Bure. He has to race after it. At the line, Jelena is able to keep it in. Babbage, a weak backhand shot, broken up by the Flames, and Zalapski flips it down the ice.
Well, Zalapski and Patrick have been a formidable pair for the Calgary Flames. This team was 10-5-2 since the trade with Hartford. Those guys really move the puck well.
Babbage goes back to the net, checked by Dahl. Craven keeps it in. His shot goes wide. At the other point, Lumme looks for someone to give it to, goes back to the net for Bure. It skipped away from him. Babbage pinches in at the other point. Keeps it in momentarily. Now Dahl starts away. The Flames are back at full strength. Dahl and Otto go to the line. And Otto drove for the net as Dahl attempted to flip it to him. Now Bure drops it for Lumme. Lumme is checked, can't get a shot away. Cruz had Lumme tied up, and Vernon grabs the loose puck. It's still scoreless with 5:45 remaining in the second. What a difference a year has made for the Vancouver Canucks on home ice. Last year, they put together a tremendous streak of about 18 games on home ice and compiling a 27-11-4 record. This year, 19-19-3. They had more wins away from the Pacific Coliseum than they did here at home for the first time in franchise history.
Well, Vancouver scored 67 less goals overall last year. I'm sure that's part of the reason that they weren't quite as successful in their home rink.
You might be wondering about the 20th win that the Vancouver Canucks had. That was a neutral site game against Calgary in Saskatoon. Nieuwendyk for MacInnis, and his howitzer sails wide. Cruz trying to work around Stern, who's running interference for him. The puck comes out front, and Cruz went to a backhand, and McLean was able to kick it out as Cruz walked out in front of the Vancouver goal.
Well, Pat Quinn has used this line very effectively, and Toski, Memesso, and McIntyre have really been able to either pick up the intensity of the game or change the momentum in the favor of the Canucks.
Ronning against Dahl, fires it to the corner. Walls goes in after it. For Otto, he's checked by Linden. Courtnall winds up at the line. It's gloved by Vernon, and Vernon, with Ronning driving for the net, wisely decides to hold on.
Mind that it's been a tough series to goaltend because of the shots where they've come from and the number of deflections.
Those are the other scores. Dallas over St. Louis 5-4 in overtime for a 3-0 series lead. And it's still Detroit leading San Jose 2-0, and that series is tied at a game apiece. The other Western Conference quarterfinal resumes tomorrow night. Toronto at Chicago. And we'll have it for you on CBC television. It will be seen in most parts of the country, while Montreal, Boston will be seen in Quebec on Hockey Night in Canada. Bure steals. Bure threw a weak shot in front of the net. It's still loose in front of the goal. Bure picks it up and fires it wide. Ronning jams at it at the side of the net. Now Dahl starts away, and he fires it right on Kirk McLean, so there's no icing as Brown comes back. 3:34 remaining in the period. Brown rubbed out of the play by Yanni. The two of them go down. Craven attempted to center, and Vernon holds it. 3:25 remains in the period with another update. Again, here's Ken.
Pacific Coliseum in Vancouver isn't the only place they wave towels, Don, because it's also happening at the arena in San Jose, and they have very good reason to be happy because the Sharks are on the board second period. Alf Dolan will fight off a check from Mark Howe, get it out in front to Rob Goodrow, who scores in the power play, and the Sharks are on the board as he beats Osgood. It's now Detroit 2, San Jose 1, second period.
Jim, maybe there's something to this towel power. And if the Canucks win tonight, I think rather than just hand out 2,000 towels, every person attending the game on Sunday might get a towel on the way in.
Former Shark Kelly Kissio. You can't believe the roar that there is in the arena in San Jose. It's absolutely incredible. I was there for the last regular season game, and I couldn't hear myself think, although that's not too difficult sometimes. In a playoff game, it would have to be pandemonium.
Here's a chance now for the Canucks. Ronning starts away with Adams trying to catch up. Over to Memesso in the slot for Lumme. Lumme jams away at the rebound with Vernon down. It went wide. Vernon has also lost his goal stick. Canucks may have been guilty there of overpassing as they came in on Mike Vernon. And now, as the play goes on in the corner, Patrick, realizing Vernon was without a stick, went back to the net and picked it up. Here's Merzen firing it wide. On the other point, Lumme tried to go behind the net to Ronning. It was intercepted. And the Calgary Flames relieve the pressure. 2:28 remaining in the period. Here's Ronning moving in behind his back. Adams fanned on the shot. Back comes Reichel for Roberts. Roberts tees it up. It's blocked before it gets to the goal, and Hunter breaks down the right side, bodied there by Musil. MacInnis over to McCarthy. McCarthy lets a long shot go that is kicked out by McLean to Diddick, who takes it to safety back of the goal. 18-15, the Canucks with the edge in shots on goal. Neither side has been able to score a goal in this third game of the Western Conference quarterfinal. .130 now remaining in period 2. Brown fires it in. It bounces directly in front of the net, and Dahl went down to one knee to glove it to the corner. Here's Nieuwendyk breaking down the left side. He winds and fires wide. Dahl keeps the puck in the Vancouver zone. Dahl has it again. He lets the shot go with traffic in front of the net. It was high over top of the goal. Fleury works out from the corner. His shot goes wide. Dahl has it as we move into the final minute. Craven trying to check Nieuwendyk back to the net. Nieuwendyk goes down. He has the puck between his legs. It's freed for Fleury. Fleury attempted to center. It goes to the side boards. Zalapski took a shot there from Jelena. Beyond the reach of Craven in the slot area. And now Hedekin skates it to safety. 30 seconds remaining in the period. Hedekin for Jelena. Jelena tried to leave it there for Bure, but it was checked away by Patrick. Jelena in the slot tried to spin around and let a shot go, then he was knocked down. Here's a pass for Fleury. Fleury shot right on, and we have an injured Calgary Flame. Joel Otto is down with 2 seconds remaining. Courtnall drops it off. Ronning shot is high off the glass just as the horn sounds, but Otto is still down.
Good old-fashioned hockey. I talked to Ernie Punch McLean after the first period, and those were his words exactly. Vancouver fans know that name. Nieuwendyk very slow getting off. Otto in the same sort of fashion. Both players not wanting to give Vancouver an edge, so they want to come off under their own steam. Nieuwendyk, who missed 20 games with a severe knee injury, will that be a factor for period number 3? Boy, a very physical Vancouver game. And is it going to wear on the Calgary Flames? Otto nose to nose with Van Helmen.
Otto obviously upset that there was no penalty call But if he's not careful, if he says too much to Van Hellemond, he could wind up getting 10. Well, this could be a tough third period for the Calgary Flames if Joe Nieuwendyk is hurt and if Joel Otto is injured at all, because he has also limped off to the dressing room in the second intermission.
Hasn't returned, nor has Joel Otto. Mike Burke, the Flames spokesman, came in and told us both have undetermined leg injuries. He can't say they won't be back, but as of now, neither coming back to start this third period as they're being checked out in the Flames dressing room. So bad news for Calgary if the two of those don't return.
Well, Dave King has concern on his face, obviously, and remember, Joe Nieuwendyk suffered a knee injury on the 24th of February against Tampa that kept him out of the lineup for 7 weeks. It could be that, as we saw him limp off, he has suffered a recurrence of the problem. 18-17, the shots on goal favoring the Canucks. No scoring thus far in the hockey game. And game 4 of this series will take place here at the Pacific Coliseum on Sunday afternoon. We hope you'll be with us on Sunday afternoon, and you've got a doubleheader coming your way on Sunday with the Flames and the Canucks in the afternoon and Toronto, Chicago in the evening. Titov fans on his shot. He was being cut off by Dave Babbage, who has really played a strong game defensively for Vancouver.
Well, once again, the three big defensemen taking the body at every opportunity. And if you were to keep track of hits, you would find that Vancouver is dominated in that department. Babbage is so big and strong, you'll notice that very few players will take the body on him when he has any time at all to know that they're coming, simply because you hit him and it doesn't feel like it does any good. It's like running into the old brick wall. Babbage, huge arms, strong upper body, and a torso and legs to follow. He's a lot quicker than he looks. And when you put that together with his experience and his hockey mind, he's a great guy to anchor the Vancouver defense, even if he is almost 33 years old.
That's relatively young, isn't it, Pep?
Well, I'm 33.
He's also the Vancouver nominee for the Bill Masterton Trophy. Back at the point, MacInnis dumps it behind the goal. Merzen bumps with Roberts. Stern manages to keep it in the zone. Now Lumme will clear, and Al MacInnis chases after it. Tried to drive it in. He put it over the glass and out of play, and it may have injured a fan down in the corner.
Well, Joe Nieuwendyk got hurt right towards the end of the second period as Dana Merzen dumped that one into the crowd. Here's a look at what happened right behind the net. Hedeken puts the stick on Nieuwendyk just as he goes in, and I think Nieuwendyk may have twisted his knee by watching him get up. That would be my guess. Joel Otto got tripped up at the blue line, and it appeared that he had some sort of a leg injury as well. And I got to tell you, you have to love these Vancouver fans. Merzen fired a slapper right into the crowd. I saw a guy's arm go up that said it's okay. Shortly thereafter, the hand went up with the puck, and all the people cheered. So the guy's happy to get the puck regardless of whether it could have knocked him out or not.
Kissio comes away with Sullivan. Merzen trying to take Kissio in against the boards and tie him up. Kissio continues to battle for the puck, then goes down. It goes to the other side for Zalapski. He's centered, picked off by Craven. Craven trying to hit Bure. Bure's going for the net. Jelena takes the shot. Vernon makes the save. Patrick can't get around Bure for Craven. The shot back to Lumme. Long shot that's deflected by Jelena. He picked it out of midair, and it went over the glass out of play.
Well, Vancouver, you would think, would be ecstatic about Otto and Nieuwendyk being out for the start of the third period. Anyways, one thing you have to be aware of is that Calgary has had great success when they've had a lot of injuries. In fact, one time against the New York Rangers, they had over 11 players out. Quickly just running through the facts in this game. Face-off still fairly close. Second period numbers, offensive zone, Calgary 4 for 9, Vancouver 6 for 16. Overall, Calgary better than half. Vancouver falling off a little bit. The ice times, a big difference in Roberts. He's declined by over 3 minutes. And look at Bure. Quinn is saying, get out there and do some more. And he is. As far as hits go, Vancouver had the margin of 33-17 in the first period, 14-10 in period number 2.
A race for the puck. Hedeken and Reichel go to the corner. Hedeken got there first for an icing call against Calgary.
As I was mentioning, Don, injuries played a big part in Calgary's season this year. They missed almost 400 games to injury, and they still managed a pretty successful season. Something that Dave King has built his team around is flexibility. He said he's has a tough time in having 2 guys be consistent playing together all year, but when he can, he puts as an example Roberts and Nieuwendyk together, or Otto and Stern, and in doing that he substitutes the 3rd guy. This team has had great success in the face of adversity, so as much as 2 key guys in Otto and Nieuwendyk are out right now for the 3rd period, Vancouver better pick it up a notch, because Calgary has been known to play better in the face of adversity.
Well, one player who thrives with extra ice time, and he undoubtedly will get it, is Theoren Fleury.
Well, and as Dave King told us, he wants Fleury to have at least 7 minutes a game. One of the things he looks at in between periods is playing time. If Fleury's not getting 7 minutes, he doesn't think he's reaching his potential, and with Nieuwendyk out, he's going to get more.
Here's Adams going around Yanni, a backhand shot wide. McIntyre throws it towards the net from a sharp angle. Brown lets it go. That sails wide and all the way back to the Vancouver blue line.
Don, we talked about the strength of Greg Adams when he made a great defensive play on Gary Roberts in the first game of this series. Another example of just how strong the wiry Adams is. 2 guys on his back. He still makes a move and then goes to his backhand up top. He just missed the corner on Vernon.
Greg Adams, the native of Nelson, BC, who has had a year once again plagued by injuries, and that seems to be a common thread in the career of Greg Adams over the last half-dozen years.
Well, one that he'd like to avoid. Here's the move on Yanni. Watch, he's all tied up, and he still gets a good backhand away. It was just off the target. A lot of the time, those tall, lanky guys can fool you, particularly if they're smooth. Adams reminds me a little bit of an elongated Steve Larmer. You think you have him tied up, but somehow he gets slippery and gets a great scoring opportunity away. He did it on that particular play.
Linden tied up by Walls as he tried to get to the puck. Now he does get a shot that hit the side of the net. Nieuwendyk was able to chop it along the boards and keep it in. Linden attempted to go rink wide, picked off by Gary Roberts. Dave Babich recovered. Roberts looking for Walls. He has to go to the corner after it. Now Roberts comes out from the corner. The puck loose in front of the net. They bang away, they score! Wes Walls!
Well, Gary Roberts was very close to the crease on that play. You can bet that Van Helmen was watching. Remember what we said about Calgary in the face of adversity. Roberts charges to the net and parks himself on the crease. Fleury and Walls are close by. Walls backs up a little bit and finds some open net. Waltz, who's got a great pair of hands. That puck is bouncing, remember, and there's all kinds of traffic around. Nieuwendyk is there at Babich. Waltz one-times it, and a huge goal. Dave King will be happy to see. Waltz did not get an opportunity to play the first game. Michael Nylander, who sits out right now in his place, allows Waltz to play the second one, and that just put Calgary ahead with the first goal of this hockey game.
Fleury and Roberts draw the assists on the first goal of the playoffs for Wes Walls. That comes at 3:33. Walls, one of 2 Calgary natives playing for the Flames. The other is goaltender Mike Vernon.
It's funny, when you go through these 2 teams, you find more Alberta representation on Vancouver than on Calgary.
Kissio into the slot, and a shot, even though he was being knocked down from Ron Stern. And it was gloved and knocked away by goaltender Kirk McLean. 16-10 remaining in the third.
Well, watch Wes Walls from the other side of the ice. I think this puck is bouncing. He's got great hand-eye and smooth hands to go with it. He gets it on the second hop, and he waltzes over to the bench.
Well, he was disappointed that he did not suit up for game 1. Dave King is mighty happy right now that he was dressed for game 3. If Zalapski can get there ahead of Craven, it will be an icing call, and it is.
And if anybody was to have an award for being the most exciting player, and you threw all of the players in the National Hockey League, in that lottery, Bure would have to be right at the top.
Brown lets the shot go. The puck bounces out front as Vernon makes the save, and the Flames are successful in clearing. Flames have been quite content being pressured in their own zone in this third period, simply to dump the puck down the ice. Hedeken has a shot go off a stick to the corner. Bure races in. He loses it to Reichel. Reichel is checked by Adams, and Vernon comes out of the net to clear.
Well, you notice all the heads on the bench step up right away when somebody loses the puck inside the blue line, and you could sense that Vancouver was getting excited about that.
Adams trying to get around MacInnis, and the veteran Calgary defenseman takes the puck away from him. Again, the fans think that a penalty should have been called, but there was no whistle. Lumme's long shot blocked by MacInnis. He starts away with Reichel. Reichel attempted to split the defense, but he was tied up by Dana Merzen. 14:46 remaining in the third period. 1-0. Calgary leads on a goal by Wes Walz. Walz is the man who flips the puck down the ice and into Vancouver territory with Ronning back after it. Ronning trying to pick up speed and get away from Fleury as he gets to the line. Courtnall shoots it to the corner. Walz is the first back for it. He leaves it in the corner for Musil. Ronning is knocked down. And no penalty call as Ronning behind the play was checked. Lumme having some problems trying to escape Walz. Now Merzen can't get out. Courtnall took it away from Dahl. Courtnall moves in. He shoots. Save. Big rebound in front of the net. They bang away. Vernon can't reach it, but Fleury picks up the puck, and he cuts in front of his net, escaping a check from Courtnall. Fleury tried to go between Babbage and Diddick. The puck was knocked away from him, and Ronning starts back. 13:37 remaining in the period. Here's Diddick shooting it in. Vernon out of the net to play it. Meso bowls Cruz over. Courtnall. Diddick from the point. Meso in front.
McIntyre has been responsible for changes of momentum. Antosky's not on the ice right now, but a big body check is what sets this up. Meso in the corner takes the body and then goes straight to the front of the net. It's a playoff goal, and it has got everybody in this building waving towels or parts of clothing. Here's what set this up as Meso comes to keep the puck in. Takes Paul Cruz, big body check, look at that. And a turnover, a half shot by Diddick, who has also played a strong physical game, and a perfect deflection by big Meso going to the net. And with 13:25 remaining in the third, this hockey game is tied.
Diddick hasn't seen a great deal of ice time, but after the hit on Cruz, he drove to the front of the net and redirected the shot by Diddick. It's tied at 1. Kissio for MacInnis. He's checked by Jelena. Now Titov almost stole it from Brown. And Meso, in attempting to chop it out of the zone, put it up over the glass out of play as Stern and McIntyre do some pushing and shoving after the whistle. But Sergio Meso, with his first playoff goal, has tied it for Vancouver.
Well, Mike Vernon and Kirk McLean have been flawless except once on both sides. The last shot beat Mike Vernon for the first time tonight, and that has ignited this crowd. Calgary silenced the P&E here for a few minutes when Wes Walz got his first of the playoffs and the first of this hockey game, but all of a sudden, the crowd's back into it, and there's more adrenaline in the veins of the Canucks.
Out front for Cruz. His shot goes off a stick to the corner. Kessio has it. Babbage trying to tie him up. Kessio threw it out front, nobody there, and Adams starts back for Vancouver. Adams leaves it for Babbage. Babbage out front for Adams, and it never got to him. Craven with a shot from the line. That's high off the glass. Bure knocked down by Sullivan. Sullivan pushes it ahead to Patrick. Patrick's dump in is gathered up by Lumme, being watched by Reichel. Over for Babbage to Craven. 12:05 remaining in the third. Craven's shot bounces off Musil to the corner, and Fleury tries to come out. Over on the right side for Reichel. Reichel can't get around Merza. Courtnall ahead to Ronning. Ronning shoots. It's blocked. He gets it again. Ronning over the Courtnall, and Vernon comes up with another save. Fleury starts back. He scores! Fleury from the top of the circle beats Kirk McLean to the far side.
Don, I think that Mike Vernon thought that Vancouver had scored. Talk about a turn of events. Vancouver all over the Calgary end. Take a look here. Ronning once again with a great play. Now Vernon can't get across the crease, and he's upset about it. He's jawing to Van Helmen as the play goes down the ice, and all of a sudden, a turnaround. Fleury with a perfectly placed shot right from the top of the circle. Went 5-hole on Kirk McLean, and how quickly the emotion in this game can change. It's up to Vancouver now to regain what they had just a few short seconds ago. You'll notice a lot of the time when a big goal is scored like that, even if the coach has only had that player on the ice for a few seconds, you get him off, you get him on the bench, because when you're so excited about scoring, sometimes you're not focused to get back on with the game. Fleury went to the bench, as did Lamesso after 2 big goals.
At the side of the net, puck is knocked in front of the goal, and it's gloved and held by Vernon. With 11:14 remaining, Fleury's second of the postseason from Roberts, and it's 2-1 Calgary leading Vancouver. Just underway as Brown goes back of his own net. On the shoot-in, was knocked down in front of the goal. Now Ronning starts back for Linden. Linden lets a shot go wide, and it ricochets all the way down the ice.
Well, Trevor Linden has done just a great job at keeping his intensity up for the entire game.
Reichel steals it. He can't get a shot away. He's spun around, and there's going to be a penalty against the Vancouver Canucks, Dave Babbage. So with 10:31 remaining in the third and leading by a goal, the Flames will have a puck.
Well, sometimes a pass up the middle is perfect. Other times it gets picked off. Reichel pulls this one out of the air at shoulder height, and Babbage has to haul him down. Diddick thought he had a perfect pass right up the middle. You can't do that unless you're 100% sure. If you get caught, the coach hangs you. If you don't, he doesn't say a word.
MacInnis back on the point with Patrick. Tim Hunter forces the Flames back into their own zone to set up with the man advantage. Roberts dishes off to Patrick. He tried to center it, bounced back of the goal. Reichel has it. MacInnis fakes the shot. Back to Reichel. Roberts winds up and lets the shot go. The rebound gathered up by Lumme and Claire. Merzen tried to chop it along the boards. Hunter was unable to get it out the first time, but the two combine on a second opportunity to clear. Roberts Checked by Lumme, shoots it to the corner. Now Lumme should be able to get it out, and he does.
Well, Dana Merzen was outstanding in game number 1, and he has been flawless in game number 3, taking the body, helping his partner Lumme get the puck, doing a great job tonight.
Lead pass for Kissio, but it's offside. 44 seconds remain in the Babbage penalty. Closed captioning of
took a couple of years off to earn his law degree. Well-spoken, clear and clever, and what a competitor as well. Something that he has in common, of course, with the Flames. At one time, he was the captain of the team before it moved from Atlanta.
It's a fair bit of involvement. Ex-members of the Calgary Flame organization now in the employ of the Vancouver Canucks. Titov brought it in across the Vancouver line, but Walls and Kissio were both a little over anxious and moved across the blue line as Titov got turned around, and it's offside Calgary with 31 seconds remaining in the penalty to Dave Babbage.
Well, Titov was a player that a lot of people figure was a big surprise at camp, but if you talk to the Calgary Flames scouting staff or coach Dave King, they'll mention that they had high expectations of Titov. A very clever player when he played in the Soviet Union, and he's exhibited the exact same skills in the National Hockey League. Strong defensively and a pretty good scorer as well.
MacInnis fires a shot from the point. Roberts was in front of the net, but Kirk McLean had a view of it, and it's fired down the ice with 14 seconds remaining in the Babbage penalty. Zalapski is checked. And before the Flames can set up again, Babbage steps out of the penalty box. 8:26 remaining in the third period. 2-1 Calgary leads Vancouver. Nieuwendyk intercepts the pass for Craven. He tried to get it back to Bure. It's loose in front of the net, and Vernon grabs it. Courtnall was looking for that bouncing puck, but Vernon got to it first. And the man you saw on your screen, Joel Otto, out with an injury, and this is where Calgary misses Otto in the face-off circle, particularly in their own end. Linden wheels and fires right on. Vernon kicked that one out. Brown has to chase the puck down in his own zone, being watched by Kissio. .750. The time left in the game. Cruz with a long shot. Bit of a difficult save for McLean, and the rebound was at his feet, and he had to grab it with Cruz driving for the net.
Oh, McLean screened somewhat on the last shot by Cruz. Geez, nice generous fans here, Don. I just got handed one of the towels here. And they're waving them all around us.
I don't think they'd appreciate you waving a towel.
You never know.
I think the guy wants money for the towel, dude. Out of town, the Red Wings continue to lead San Jose 3-1. That game in the third period. The Red Wings looking to take a 2-1 series lead after a surprising first game loss at home.
It's something that Vancouver should do a little bit more of, Don, and you mentioned it, is when you get the chance, shoot the puck. The last play, they had a pretty good opportunity. They tried to make one more play.
Merzen flips it to the other side for Memesso, the goal scorer for the Canucks. Memesso hit McIntyre in the back as he attempted to clear. McCarthy lost his helmet. He races in, but the puck was moved ahead to Lumme before he could get there. Big collision in the corner involving Al MacInnis and McIntyre.
Now, Sandy McCarthy has received a cut over his left eye from one of the confrontations that he's been involved in. Hasn't seen a whole lot of ice time. He grew up in Stroud, just north of Toronto, right around Barrie. McCarthy getting into it again. He's a guy that has really improved his play. Everybody knows that he's tough, but by improving his skating and in particular his leg strength, all of a sudden he finds himself in the National Hockey League. There's a number of guys like that in this game this evening. Gino Ojic is an example of that. Tim Hunter is a guy that turned limited skills, but with great perseverance, into an exceptional National Hockey League career. And Toski, another player, a lot of big guys who are slow starters, if they've managed to stay with it and work hard, have earned pretty lengthy careers and impressive ones in the National Hockey League.
Musil to Walls. He opened the scoring tonight here at the Pacific Coliseum. Sidelined him for 14 games. He's had a broken cheekbone, a broken ankle, a broken wrist, a dislocated elbow, a bruised thigh, a couple of Charlie horses. Cost him an average of 18 games per year for the past 6 seasons.
I guess he never heard about bad things coming in threes. Boy.
Seems he can't do very much right on the ice without sustaining some type of injury. Big rebound picked up by Brown. Brown tried to slip it around Reichel, and Brown has to haul Reichel down to prevent him from going in alone. And with 6:40 remaining, Pat Quinn is not happy that his team is again playing shorthanded.
Well, Vancouver looking for a little bit of composure here. You know, something that they've done for most of this series is move the puck early. And when you wait too long and you've got guys like Reichel, this is the second penalty that he's drawn. He anticipates pretty well. And when a guy can anticipate and has some wheels, don't wait until the last second to try and beat him. If you do and he intercepts, you don't have a lot of choice but to either take the penalty or wait for the shot and see if your goalie stops it. Calgary's power play is on the same track that they were in game 1. They haven't had a goal yet in 6 opportunities. They have had a few more shots. The 4 for 24 brings their percentage down. The 4 stays the same and the 24 goes up.
Gary Roberts and Theoren Fleury have figured in both goals for Dave King's team tonight. Fleury has scored and assisted on the other. Roberts assisting on both goals. And with Nieuwendyk and Otto injured and in the dressing room, Roberts and Fleury, 2 of the more experienced forwards with the Flames, are undoubtedly going to see more ice time in the final 6:40. Zalapski, long shot, big rebound to the other point to MacInnis. It was redirected to the corner. Fleury battles along the boards. He's knocked down. Reichel tried to center it, and Murzin fires at the length of the ice.
Well, as you get closer to the end of the game, the desperation hockey and the intensity of the game increases. Vancouver recognizes that if they allow one here, their chances of coming back are very slim, and Calgary looks at it in exactly the opposite way.
Reichel feeds Fleury. Back to MacInnis. He couldn't handle it. 1:14 remaining in the penalty to Brown. Fleury takes a hit from Murzin on the shoot-in. And a penalty has been called against Dana Murzin. A cross-checking penalty on Theo Fleury.
Well, when you look at this replay, you're going to agree it was a penalty, but you're not going to like the fact that Van Helmen called it. Murzin came up on the smaller Fleury and put the lumber to him a little bit. Right here, even though he put his hands together, Van Helmen had the opportunity or the choice of calling it either cross-checking or roughing. Now 5-on-3, 1 minute and 7 seconds remaining in the first penalty to Brown, and all of a sudden Calgary has got the golden opportunity of putting about 3 nails in the coffin of the Canucks for this game. Can they do it? If they don't, Vancouver is looking at a huge ovation from the crowd, and you know that that will put a lot of adrenaline into the Vancouver players, who are perhaps a little bit short on energy because they have played a very, very tough, demanding physical game. They've been the instigators in this hockey game so far.
5-on-3 for 107. And Trevor Linden is able to get the puck out of the zone. MacInnis moves it ahead to Zalapski for Roberts. Diddick tried to chop it out. Blocked by Roberts for Fleury. Again, MacInnis at the point can't handle the feed. Zalapski leaves it for Roberts. He shoots it back of the net. It comes all the way around to MacInnis. Over to Zalapski. Roberts in front of the net. Knocked down by Nieuwendyk. And as Fleury attempted to center it, Nieuwendyk had taken Roberts out of the play. Again, Nieuwendyk knocks Roberts down. Big battle in front of the net. Here's the shot. Zalapski spotted Fleury at the side of the net, but he redirected it wide. Zalapski shoots. It's up high off the glass. Now coming out of the penalty box is Brown. 49 seconds remaining in the penalty to Dana Murzin. Good penalty killing by this Vancouver foursome. Brown races down the ice, and Vernon came out of the net to freeze it momentarily, and then he freed it for MacInnis, who goes rink wide to Zalapski. 28 seconds remaining in the penalty. Lumme and McLean almost got confused back of the net as to which player would handle it. Now Zalapski over to MacInnis. MacInnis for walls. He momentarily had an open side of the net, but fired it wide, and then as the puck came off the end boards, McLean pounced on it.
All right, Don, here's what the doctors have said on Joel Otto. He was clipped on an attempt to stay onside. The knee buckled. He's experiencing soreness, examined by doctors with diagnosis deferred until tomorrow. So status day-to-day pending the examination tomorrow. Joe Nieuwendyk twisted his knee, as we saw, attempting to turn. Doctors examine him. No absolute diagnosis. He'll be further examined tomorrow. Will allow ice treatment to respond. So again, his status day-to-day pending tomorrow's examination. That's the story on Joel Otto and Joe Nieuwendyk.
In the playoffs, Don, teams always travel with their own doctors. There's a tremendous degree of secrecy, and Dave King will not want anything slipping out of the Flames dressing room unless it goes through him. So you're going to get very vague descriptions of injuries. The Vancouver Canucks will be exactly the same way. You know, Vancouver has got an interesting machine in their dressing room. It's called a hyperbaric chamber, and what they've done with this machine is use it to treat injuries and to help players recover. It's a high-pressure oxygen system that puts a higher percentage of oxygen into soft tissue, and so far they've experienced some pretty incredible results in getting players back quicker than they would otherwise if they didn't have this machine.
8 seconds remaining in the penalty to Murzin. 3:50 is the time remaining in the third period. The clock. The enemy right now of the Vancouver Canucks is they're back at full strength. Murzin throws it rink wide to Bure. He shoots, and a glove save by Vernon. Bure came dashing down the left side, but Vernon took it away from him. 3:36 remains.
Well, Pavel Bure was cruising down the left side. He leaned into this shot. Vernon had a great angle, but also a quick glove hand. And you'll see Vernon now at every opportunity freeze the puck, take a little bit of the potential momentum that Vancouver might gather. Bure with big speed coming down the left side. If Vernon plays the puck, chances are the way Bure can turn, he'll grab that puck and turn it into another chance.
Jeff Brown has his shot blocked. Ronnie Stern was racing down after it. He was prevented from getting to the puck by Brown as Hedeken went back for the ice.
A real stalwart. Zalapski with a big defensive game for Calgary. Titov's been strong. Sullivan's done a good job on Bure as well, and Theoren Fleury has scored a real big goal for the Calgary Flames. 3:26 remaining. Will that goal stand as being a big one?
Zalapski for Sullivan. Bure and Brown are back on the points for Vancouver. In front for Craven, and he couldn't get a shot away as Hedeken centered it from the corner, and Vernon grabbed the loose puck.
You know, when you get an out, the Craven still opening himself up to a big hit, trying to get a scoring chance for his club.
Craven will try and get the puck back to the point to Brown, but Fleury won the draw. We're approaching the 17-minute mark of the third period. 2-1 The Calgary Flames lead the Vancouver Canucks in Game 3 of this Western Conference quarterfinal. Anakin will shoot it in. Stopped by Vernon behind the net. And now Zalapski trying to clear. Kept in by Brown. Brown lets the shot go wide. Babbage races to the other point. Kept it in momentarily, and then it's flipped down the ice by Patrick. Back after it goes Brown. Icing Calgary with 2:26 remaining in the third period.
He's got lots of brothers and sisters, and I'm sure they're still up.
Babbage leaves it for Ronnie. He drives it to the corner. Vernon started to come out of the net to go after it. Now Musil is checked along the boards by Lumme and Linden. It's centered by Courtnall, but picked off by MacInnis for Roberts.
A big play by Theoren Fleury there. Those plays go unnoticed. He really did a good job in holding up the forechecker so his defenseman Musil could get the puck. Now Calgary is really lining guys up across their blue line. They're going into a real defensive shell. And Vancouver has got to get the red line and then dump it in to turn them.
Here's a 2-on-1. Reichel to Roberts. He scores! And with 1:37 remaining, that could pretty much put it away for the Calgary Flames.
Well, Vancouver has been the instigator in this game. They've been very, very strong physically, and it's tough to take a defeat when you've been the aggressor. But a turnover at the red line and a perfect pass by Reichel over to Gary Roberts. And Reichel has got 24 square feet of net to shoot at. Reichel's been instrumental in this third period in a couple of different turnovers. And a perfect pass to Gary Roberts puts Vancouver 2 behind.
3 points tonight for Gary Roberts, his first goal of the playoffs. Reichel and Musil draw the assists. .135 remaining. 3-1, the Flames now in front. All the scoring coming in the third period. Fleury is bumped in the corner. And Kirk McLean comes out of the Vancouver net just as the Calgary net is dislodged. And Craven is involved in some pushing and shoving with Sullivan in the corner. With another Stanley Cup playoff update, here's Ken Daniels.
Well done. The San Jose Sharks are making it close at the arena in San Jose. 31 seconds left. Urbe on the bench. Igor Larionov gets the puck in tight to Sergei Makarov. There you see 31 seconds left. Sharks trailing 3-2. But that's as close as they got. It is now a final. Detroit beats San Jose 3-2. The Wings lead the series 2-1. They'll play Game 4 there tomorrow night, then Game 5 on Tuesday.
And it looks as though we could be following a similar script here, with the home team losing the first game and then coming back to win the next two to take a 2-1 series lead.
But Kevin Dahl had a mix-up with Murray Craven as he drove to the net. Dahl went down, and in hitting, the Marsh Pegs dragged the net off its moorings.
The extra attacker is out there as the puck comes to Bure. Bure fakes, lets the shot go, he scores!
Well, Don, you've said it a couple of times tonight. Vancouver sometimes has been a little too fancy. This time they're not. It's amazing what happens when you shoot the puck. Bure with a shot. It gets deflected in front of the net. Not that hard a shot, but it's at the net. Fleury cheats a little bit, thinking the pass is going to be made. And Greg Adams gets his stick on a puck that's about 4 feet high. The deflection beats Vernon. The second goal to beat Vernon, and the second deflection.
Now Kirk McLean comes back to the net, and the Canucks will be looking to get another face-off in the Calgary zone. They've initially given the goal to Greg Adams in front of the net. He apparently deflected the shot by Bure. Craven also draws the assist.
Craven with a big job on the face-off. Once again, Bure simply shooting the puck. Adams found a way to get a stick on it. And what seemed like it was going to be a relaxing minute and a half or minute and 40, all of a sudden makes a number of different muscles tighten up on the Flames bench.
Adams shoots it in, and here comes McLean to the bench. Sullivan is checked. The puck comes free to Fleury, and Fleury dumps it down the ice with Brown going back after it. 1:03 remaining in the period. Fleury races into the corner. He's checked back of the net. The puck is loose. Sullivan flips it up high and down the ice. Bure is back after it. 47 seconds remaining. Brown fires at the length of the ice, and this will be icing Vancouver. Brown tried to hit a man at the Calgary blue line, but it went beyond his reach, and this is a costly icing call against Vancouver.
Look at Adams' stick on the right side of your screen as he gets back up. Great second effort. So easy to stay down on your knees. Patrick was being hard on Adams. Knocked him down the first time. Adams found a way to get to his feet, and what a nice way to be rewarded.
41.3 seconds remaining, and with the face-off back in the Vancouver zone, Kirk McLean has to return to the net. Captain Trevor Linden positioning a couple of his teammates, following the instructions being signaled to him from Coach Pat Quinn. Bure back of his own net. Long lead pass for Courtnall, too far for him. MacInnis has it. McLean had started out of his net, but has to retreat. Courtnall got it in. McLean comes to the bench as the Flames clear. Bure gets it to Brown. Brown ahead for Jelena. Bounce past him. Jelena trying to keep it in. Courtnall works to the corner. The Flames trying to clear, and they'll bring it out. Sullivan took a long shot that was blocked by Brown, but with only 4 seconds remaining, and Fleury stealing the puck. It's all over. Theoren Fleury with the insurance goal, his second of the hockey game, and the Calgary Flames take a 2-1 lead in games.
Calgary with pretty good discipline and good pressure on the puck. You think you'd be quitting, but this is the type of effort that you want over an entire 60 minutes. Sullivan with a great chance. Roberts and Fleury right on top. Vernon pretty happy with that effort, and right after that, a few things came onto the ice, and he jumped right inside the net. Andy Van Helmen, in all likelihood, will drop the puck and get rid of the last 1.2 seconds. There's all kinds of litter on the ice.
Well, a big win for the Calgary Flames after losing their captain, Joe Nieuwendyk, and center Joel Otto with injuries in the final seconds of the second period. And as you suggested, Jim, other members of the Flames came to the fore and provided Calgary with a 4-2 victory. So the Calgary Flames, with their 4-2 win, take a 2-1 series lead with Game 4 Sunday afternoon.
Star number 1 tonight, Kirk McLean. Star number 2, and Flames defenseman Zalapski, the third star. A final score once again, Calgary beating Vancouver